Effects of climate change on agriculture. What is climate change? Climate change is a change in global or regional climate patterns. In particular, a change apparent from the mid to late 20th century onwards and attributed largely to increased levels of atmospheric carbon dioxide produced by use of fossil fuels. What does it mean? We are pumping carbon dioxide into the atmosphere at unprecedented rates. Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas, meaning it keeps the Earth warm, but pumping too much into our atmosphere can cause the Earth to warm up faster than usual, causing problems with our ecosystems. What does it have to do with agriculture? Direct impacts include extreme weather and change in crop and livestock development due to the extra carbon in soil, plants, and the atmosphere. Some indirect effects include increases of pests and pathogens who thrive in climate change. Climate change and the effects on our crops. A rise in temperature causes pollination to fail more often. This can be included in the warmer winters that cause blooms to happen earlier, meaning the insects are not around to cross-pollinate between different crops. A rise in temperature can cause lower quality in crops. More CO2 is absorbed into the soil, meaning less nitrogen and other organic matter for the crops to absorb. Different weather patterns can change available soil water, especially in year-round locations. Places where people plant their crops often all year round may depend on more water in their soil. If there is droughts happening and not as much precipitation, it can cause the crops to fail. Some plants require chilling periods. Many plants that come back year after year require a cold period through the winter to have them come back. If there isn't that cold period in the winter, they will not come back. The graph shows the percent change over time of quality of soil. As you can see, it goes down slowly as there's more carbon dioxide pumped into the atmosphere and absorbed by the soil. Climate change and its effects on our livestock. Hot temperatures at night can cause stress on animals, meaning milk, egg, and fertility production will all go down. Without more fertility in eggs, there will be less babies born, meaning our meat production will also go down. More carbon in the soil means less nitrogen and less organic matter, meaning that our grass for our pasture and rangeland livestock will have a lower quality and we won't have enough to support the livestock. Temperature rising can also cause farmers to possibly find cooling and temperature control, keeping the livestock and the crops cool enough. Weeds, diseases, and pests. Weeds can cause up to 34% of loss in crops per year right at the present. Insects cause an 18% loss, and disease costs a 16% loss. If climate change continues on its current path, we can expect these percentages all to go up. CO2 and warmer temperatures can increase certain weed growth. Many weeds thrive on extra carbon dioxide, and they will take over our crops and steal all the extra nutrients. Along with the weed growth, it'll increase our use of herbicide. And as the weeds grow more with more carbon dioxide, it means our herbicide has less effect, meaning we'll probably use it even more to have to kill them. Drought and temperature increase can cause an increase in a pathogen called aflatoxin. The aflatoxin will grow while our host plants diminish, and the more they grow, the less plants we will have. Higher winter temperatures will also cause more insects to survive during the winter and have more offspring every spring. This will cause more generation of insects, and we'll have more insects every year because they won't die through cold temperatures. Extreme weather. Precipitation is predicted to rise with climate change in certain areas, and it is predicted to fall in other areas, causing more droughts. The shifts of weather patterns can alter our crop water requirement. Crops will either need more water or less water depending on where they're at, meaning that our water costs would go up for those places in droughts, and our productivity will also go down if we have too much water in one spot, meaning the crops will get too much and possibly drown and fail. Our graph shows the heavy increasing downpours in Iowa. As the years go up and more carbon dioxide is pumped into our atmosphere, we can see that there is a higher increase of days that there are more rainfall. Soil erosion. A rise in precipitation causes more erosion in the soil, and this erosion can cause less nutrients. It causes less nutrients because the water will there'd be so much water on the soil that it'll sit on top and wash away all the topsoil and nutrients in it. Some farmers are trying to combat that by using drainage pipes. These drainage pipes are installed to take the water and drain it someplace else so it'll keep the nutrients in the soil. The costs. Today, the USA alone produces approximately $330 billion a year of agriculture commodities. Our higher winter temperatures can cause that to go down. They can cause early blooms, which cause our frosts to come back and kill all the early blooms, and they will not bloom again that year, meaning we will lose all those crop productions. One year in a Michigan city, this happened. There was high winter temperatures, which caused their cherry trees to bloom extra early. A frost set in later on and killed all the blooms on the cherry tree, costing them $220 million. Some plants require that chilling period. The higher temperatures in the winter mean that there is not going to be a cold enough chilling period. This is going to have to cause farmers to buy extra equipment and drive energy prices up to keep the area cold enough for their crops to come back. Our graph over here divides the billions of dollars in which we make on each sort of livestock and crop. Some adaptations we could use through climate change. We can adjust our planting times. We can move our planting times to later in the year so that they do not bloom early and die through frost. We can also choose different varieties of crops that are more drought tolerant and don't need as much water. Restricting our food trade can help us keep our own food and grow our own food to feed our own people rather than trading with everyone else and needing to make enough food. This would also cause other countries to have to grow their own food. The cooling methods talked about earlier, where farmers would have to buy extra equipment to keep their crops cool, and soil conversion. This is when there's too much erosion and the nutrients are pushed away, so they have to switch out the soil to keep more nutrients to keep crops growing.